This is called the free ticket, and it is a great witnessing tool. You take a piece of paper, fold it like this, and you fold it back over. You've got your house shape, and fold it once more like an airplane. Now the story goes there were two neighbors, lived next door to each other. One was an atheist, one was a Christian. One day they were both out cutting their grass, and the atheist happens to glance over to the Christian and sees he has this piece of paper. He says, "Hey, what do you have there?" He said, "Well, this is my free ticket." He said, "Ticket for what?" He said, "Well, ticket to heaven." He said, "Well, how'd you get it?" He said, "Well, I put my faith in Christ and believed that he shed his blood on the cross for me, and this ticket was given to me, no charge." He said, "You can get a ticket of your own." The atheist neighbor says, I've been real busy. I really don't have time for things like this. But I tell you what, why don't you give me a piece of your ticket?" Well, the Christian man says, "Well, I'll give you a piece of this ticket, but it's really not going to help you." And he takes it and he cuts him off a piece of the ticket. And he says, "Well, there you go." A couple months later, they happen to be in the grocery store, and the Christian neighbor bumps into the atheist neighbor again. He asks the atheist neighbor, "Hey, did you ever get your free ticket?" He said, "No, I've been meaning to." He said, "But I've been so busy lately." He said, "I tell you what," he said, "why don't you give me another piece of your ticket?" Neighbor says, "Well, okay, I'd be happy to give it to you." He said, "But I'm telling you, it's not going to do you much good." He said, "But here you go." And he cuts him off another piece of his ticket. Well, as fate would have it, a couple months go down the road, and both neighbors happen to die. And they're up, before St. Peter, and the atheist goes first, and St. Peter says, "Well, let me see your ticket." And he goes, "Well, here you go." St. Peter says, "What is this?" He says, hasn't anybody ever told you how to receive your own ticket?" He said, "My neighbor told me how I could do this." He said, "But I never had much time." He says, "So he was nice enough to give me piece of his ticket. I figured that'd be good enough." St. Peter says, "All right." He says, "Well, let's see what you have here." And he starts to unfold the pieces of paper. He says, "Well, I guess you can see what your neighbor had been telling you all along." And that was the end of that. Well, the Christian neighbor stands up, and he asks, St. Peter says, "Well, let me see your ticket." The Christian man hands this to him. St. Peter grabs it and he opens it. And that is the story of the free ticket.